20,000? 12,000?
500.
Focus on about 25. We sell options on futures. And this is the list that we watch all day long, constantly. The ES, which is the future, the E-mini, the NASDAQ future, Russell 2000, volatility indexes. We trade some currencies, the euro, the British pound, crude oil, natural gas, corn, wheat, soy, treasuries, gold futures, silver futures, and then we watch a bunch of other things just from a market perspective. But all the trades that we're doing in the Dorian Way, that's what we trade. We focus on these and ask the question, why do you think we focus on this group of underlyings? Leverage? Yeah. What are the financial advantages? We'll cover that in a second. That's a good one. Liquidity, big reason why we cover these. So we're not typically subject to the risk of an earnings release on a company. We're not typically subject to the president or the CEO or the chairman of the board having, a bad day or doing something crazy. These are all aggregation plays where one event may not move the market. And in many cases, some of these items, like gold, if gold's going to go up, some of these others are going down. So they're hedges against inflation. So we're constantly trying to stay fairly neutral in the marketplace of all the different trades we make. And she mentioned its tax advantage. Anybody heard of the 1256 contract? All these things that we trade are under what's called 1256. This is an IRS regulation where when you make money on selling options on these futures, the money that you make is taxed very differently than ordinary income. 40% of every dollar is ordinary income, but 60% is capital gains, long-term capital gains. So if you're at the top income tax bracket and you're trading 1256 contracts versus just options, you have about a 25% tax advantage for trading these options. So we try to do things very efficiently in the marketplace where we can take advantage of loss through regulatory. Yeah.
Did you say that 1256 is only for options futures?
No, it's for, by definition, it's for futures, it's for options on futures, and several other categories, but for purposes of our list of the things that we trade, everything that we trade falls into the category of 1256. Yeah.
So the reason why you're doing the futures versus, say, an underlying index or the equity of an index fund is because of the tax advantage nature of this, not
Correct.
anything else other than that.
It's also because we can trade them tonight. They're open typically. They're open from 5 p.m. Sunday night through 5 p.m. Friday night. Did I get that right?
It starts 5 p.m. Sunday night and it ends 4 p.m. on Friday. So it's basically 5.5 days a week around the clock. They do stop for a few, like a half an hour at times to adjust their systems and so forth. But one of the great things is that if you want to learn how to trade options, you can learn even if you have a full-time job because you can trade them at night as well, and you can have like one-on-one mentoring at night.
Which we'll talk about later. Yeah, so liquidity, tax advantage, and essentially 24/7 trading opportunities. I've put a few trades on at night. I've had some trades that it actually I made more money trading it at nighttime to get out of the trade than during when the market opened. It just happens that way sometimes. Early in the morning or late at night. I don't do it often. I trade mostly during the market opening, but you can trade it anytime. I'm going to keep asking. Anybody have any questions? Anybody concerned? If we're not covering something, let's talk about it. It's open book. Yeah.
The 1256, I noticed some of those underlines behind that are not futures, like the VIX and the SPX. So those are also included in that 1256?
The SPX is not, right?
Yes, it is.
It is, excuse me.
So it's considered an index that's cash settled, so it also includes the 1256. But ETFs do not. They could be an index like SPY, QQQ. It's not included though in the 1256 because it's treated more like a stock. The cash settled indexes are treated like futures.
You didn't come up to teach the rest of this. I can't do it all right. You've got too much knowledge. Okay. So what kind of trades do you place? So this is a slide, a very complicated slide. It comes off of a website, TastyWorks. Everybody heard of Tom Stosnoff? Tasty Trade, TastyWorks. So this is an incredibly complicated list of option type trades. I'm not sure who named some of these things. The jaded lizard, the big lizard, the reverse jaded lizards. They all have something going on here. But let's just dissect this real quick. So in the green we have what are called bullish trades. In the red we have bearish trades. In the gray zone we have neutral trades. So what does it mean to be bullish? What do you want to happen in a bullish trade?
Upward outlook.
Upward outlook, market goes up, stock price goes up. In our scenario on a bullish trade, we want the underlying price to at least stay where it is or go up, or only go down just a little bit. We can make money in this scenario in the trades that we'll show you. We can make money when we're directionally not right all the time. We go up a little bit, down a little bit, just kick it a lot or down a lot. How about on the bullish side, a bearish side? What does bearish mean? Underlying, you do what? Go down. Same scenario except in the reverse. How about neutral?
Sideways.
Stay kind of flat along the timeline. So all those arrows going every which way mean a lot of different things. There's one little thing down here it's called defined risk and undefined risk. When I said for my first 4 years I traded naked options, I sold puts. I was taking an enormous amount of risk. Theoretically, if I had to take possession of the stock, I would be writing a check for really big numbers because it's undefined. If you sell a naked put or a naked call, you have theoretical risk if it's not managed properly, that your loss could be tremendous if the stock goes against you in any way. If you're at this level and the price goes way high, you have a problem with your naked call, and if the stock goes down to zero, the company goes out of business, the price that you bought your sold your put at versus zero can be a big number too. Those are undefined risk trades. We don't deal with those. We deal in defined risks. So let's simplify what we do, and these are the type of trades that I put on for the last 365 days in doing my 65% for the year. So we eliminate all the stuff at the bottom. We eliminate all these other bullish trades. We eliminate all these bearish trades. We eliminate almost all of the neutral trades. And we have three types of trades that we teach. A short put spread, a short call spread, and an iron condor, which is a combination of a short put and a short call. All three of those trades are all defined risks, which means we know when we enter a trade how much money we make and how much money we lose. Pretty sound okay? Simple? A little bit simpler than that big old slide back there with all these different things. Who's traded? There's some sophisticated traders in the room. Ryan, are you trading any jaded lizards? No jaded lizards.
All undefined.
All undefined. You're all undefined risk. So you're naked puts and naked calls. At what delta, if you don't mind?
Periods, I'd rather not disclose.
Perfect.
I'm very,
I got you. Fair enough, fair enough, very good. All right, so who wants to take a shot at defining what a short put spread is? Anybody have any idea? Who wants to try to teach what a short put is? Somebody's gonna do it. Yes, sir. Vertical, so we're gonna have two legs. We're gonna do what? We're gonna sell one and we're gonna buy one. Okay. We'll show you that. We'll show you the trade on the platform here in just a minute. So when we're talking about a spread, you mentioned the word vertical. So let's just use an example of Apple selling for about $250 a share. So we're going to be bullish on a put. So what does that mean? We want Apple's stock price to stay where it is or go higher, which means we're going to sell a put at a strike price that's below $250. And then we're going to buy a put underneath the one that we just sold, like $5, $10, so we can define our risk. We're going to take the differential on our premium, and we're going to know what our risk is in between the put that we sold and the put that we bought. Same on a call spread. If Apple's here, we're going to sell a call here, and we're going to buy a call even higher. So we have the differential, we know exactly what our defined risk is, and how much premium we're going to make. All right, so when do we trade? What are our ROI? What's the exposure on a trade? Lots of different questions on how we do this. So here's a checklist on how we trade an ES option. I'm going to go through this really quick, then we'll go into the platform. We'll actually make a trade. So we typically look 30 to 60 days out. We sell a put at the 5 delta. We buy a put no further than 100 points wide. I'll show you that on the platform. We're looking for 12% for the money that we have locked up. We want to get at least $100 for the contracts that we're selling. And our buying power has to be at least, we're making 12% against the buying power. I'm not explaining that very well, but this is the checklist. But Brian, you can jump in here if there's anything you want to add to this.
He's saying, the first 12%, he's saying you want to be ideally 12% away from at the money. And then on those sheets that we pass out, it indicates what the at the money is. At the money is what the stock is, or whatever the underlying is trading at that point. And then he's talking about 12% on the collateral, basically, what the brokerage firm or the regulators require you to put to the side to be able to put on the trade. And we call it collateral. It's not interest that you're being paid, that you have to pay. It's just some money you have to put aside that you cannot use, that doesn't leave your account. You just can't use it. And we want to receive 12% on that money. So for example, if they require you to put $1,000 up for collateral, we want to receive at least $120 for that $1,000 they require us to put to the side.
So, sorry it's so tiny to see it, but this is the platform. We're now looking at the underlying ES 500, S&P 500. Currently trading at 33.2425, up 4.75. This is strike prices right here. Over on the left-hand side are your calls. Over on the right-hand side are your puts. And when we talked about at the money, out of the money, and in the money, let's go to right where it's at the money here. This option change. So can you see the coloration difference? Notice that strike price, 33.20 to 33.25, right at the money. Puts in black. Who wants to take a shot? Is that in the money or out of the money for a put?
I don't know.
Why?
It's below the strike price.
Correct. These strike prices are below the current underlying. And on the calls, it's exactly the opposite. These strike prices are above, which means these are out of the money. The opposite is true on the call side and the put side. These are in the money. Let's take a look at delta. I've got it listed here. Sorry, the columns are a little tight. These are probabilities. Let's just say that this column is the delta. And for the puts, at 30 to 20, the delta is 29. Everybody get that? So let's go to the 5 delta and see if we can make a trade that we can create. Yes. Yeah. So there is the 5 delta at the 28.70. Right? Everybody see it? So that just popped up. I'm going to sell the 28.70. I'm going to go 100 points below that to the 27.70. And I'm going to buy. Down here you'll see the order popped up. That's one contract. We are 59 days out. We are selling the 58.70. We are buying the 28.70. We're selling the 27.70. And we're getting what was 190 just changed to 185 for one contract. And if we hit send and confirm, what's that going to say to us? That's going to say that our credit we're going to receive is $92.50 less our fees of $88.56. That doesn't qualify to receive $100 or more net of fees. So let's adjust it a little bit. Let's go up a little bit to let's go to the 29.10. It's a 6 delta. There's some flexibility in these rules, give or take, from 5 to 7 delta. Let's sell the 29.10 and let's buy the 28.10. One contract, 59 days out, 100 points between the contract we're selling and the contract we're buying for a $2.45 credit for that one contract. Now what do we have? Receive $122.50 net of fees of $118. Here's a critical little number here. Buying power effect. It's not holding any of my money to do this trade. And the maximum loss is $4,877. Now, don't let that scare you. That's if everything goes wrong. Remember, we have a 95% chance of winning this one. And if the market goes against us and the ES starts to drop, we manage that to continue to stay out of the money. What's my return on 100? If I'm going to do this trade, let's see if we can get it filled. We may not be able to get it filled. Let's see if we get it close. Notice down here, it's hard to read, but there's a mid price of 225 and a natural price of 215. We might have to adjust this a couple times to get it filled, but let's see if we can get that filled. So we just placed the trade. It's working.
Ernie, do you have your sound on?
I don't have the sound. Thank you. There we go. I'm going to adjust that trade a little bit. Adjust the price just for purposes of demonstration here. We're going to take it down to 220 in between the mid and the natural. So now I'm still getting $106. They're not tying up any of my money to do this trade. Let's see if I can get it.
Oh.
Sold. So I just put $106 into my bank account. And it didn't restrict any of the funds in my account to do it. Now, typically, it will restrict some of the funds, but if I do the mathematical calculation, I just put $100 in my account, $106 in my account, and I didn't tie up any of my funds to do it. What's my return?
Phil,
Is it better?
I got it filled back here too.
You got it, Phil?
Yeah, they both got it filled. We're doing it together, baby. We're doing it together.
Yeah, he's on there, he just bought that. The point that I was trying to make, Dave, before you ask the question is, we're looking for trades that make at least 12%. So $106 divided by nothing, that's more than 12%, right? If it would have tied up if it would have tied up $900, I would have made that trade just as well. But because of my overall portfolio is measuring risk, it's allowing you to take that premium in and make that trade without having to tie up any of my cash. Yes, sir.
Okay, if you were a newbie and didn't have a bunch of stuff in your account, what would get tied up on that?
Let's take a look at it again. If we sell it, we buy it, but let's say we do, let's do 20 contracts. Now, I'm going to press send and confirm, but I'm not going to send that one, okay? Well, that's a pretty good trade. They would put $2,373 in my account, and they would only restrict in my account $1,900. Is that better than 12%?
Yes. And one contract, to answer your question, though, Ray, if you had nothing else in your account, it would probably hold, for that same type of trade, like $400. So,
About
you may-
25%.
That's the answer I'm looking for.
Okay.
Sorry, I couldn't answer it with a live because of what I've got in my account. All right, there were some other questions. Yeah.
Ernie, I don't know if I missed something for you, probably. You mentioned earlier retention was focused on $4,400 or something. Maybe was that only on one leg of spread, or was that?
That was the defined risk of the entire trade. Yes. So, go ahead.
So if you're looking at the return, to what extent do you need to do a contract? If the trade does go against you,
So for the trade, for me to lose all $4,400 something dollars, the price of the underlying would have to go all the way down to 2,800 from 33.24. By the just statistics and standard deviation, we're down in the third standard deviation, which is a 95, 98% likelihood that it won't go down. And if it did go down there, or if it began to go down there, we would adjust. And I'll show you, I'll talk our way through how we adjust these trades.